InCharge Ultra Fast Charging Review. Is it faster than your current charger? How to always have the right cable at hand, whether you are at home or on the go. You probably don't have the answer to this question, right? Well, turns out rolling square might be the answer to your question. The InCharge X fast charging cable is, well, a fast-charging, multifunctional cable, which you can easily turn into a keyring with the help of strong neodymium magnets in the connectors and will never leave you without energy. In addition to providing fast charging for electronics, you can use your phone or tablet instead of standard charging adapters for other devices if you do not already have another power source. You can also entrust it with an incredibly fast data transfer. In this video, we'll take a look at the Charge X, what you need to know about it, how does it compare with its predecessor, the InCharge 6, and whether you should buy it or not. Stay tuned and watch as we have a lot to unpack today. Rolling Square's InCharge cables are pretty much emergency charging cables that have plenty of uses. The InCharge 6 6-in-1 key cable was the predecessor to the InCharge X. The InCharge X is altogether a beefier, better cable. In a nutshell, the InCharge cables are both keyring cables for use in an emergency to enable you to charge your devices. They are very small and lightweight and designed to get you out of trouble. For example, imagine you're traveling by train and it's stuck, and your mobile phone is about to run out of power. You need to make a call to let people know you're going to be late, and you probably want to know where your current location is, or probably have your ticket on your phone. Basically, if your phone dies, you're going to be in a whole lot of trouble. Sure, there might be USB outlets on the train, but you need a cable, and now you have one on your keychain. How cool is that? Now, if you're constantly on the road and always carry essentials such as your power bank with you, just in case, there isn't a USB socket available. The InCharge cable therefore comes in handy. The InCharge cable, as you can see, is short. Therefore, it lends itself best for use with something like a power bank or devices that can get close to a wall socket like a phone. Although, if this is your only option, I'm sure it could charge pretty much anything you want in an emergency. Now, I've already talked about what the InCharge cable can do in the intro of this video, so I won't be going through it again. But let's compare the old InCharge 6 cable with the new InCharge X and see if the new one is worth paying a little bit extra for. Let's first compare these two side by side so we can see the key differences. As you can see, the new one, the InCharge X, is more rounded and in my opinion at least has a nicer finish, and it's got a flatter profile. It is also a little bit neater. The InCharge X is a little longer in length, but it's also a little bit thinner in that dimension. In terms of width, they're both the same. You'll also notice straight away the X has a plastic end cap on, and that serves for two purposes. First, it helps to keep the dirt and dust out, which is no bad thing, but it also holds the two halves together. Although they're held together with a magnet, you could still probably get the entire thing in your pocket, and potentially this could come loose. With this end cap though, it's really held in place tightly so you're not going to lose it. The braiding on the cable on the new one is also a little bit more heavy duty by the looks of it, and it probably will tand up a little bit more wear and tear. Compare that to the older version of the InCharge 6, it can stand up really well too, according to the reviews online. Speaking of features and what they're capable of, both of these are 6-in-1, which means they replace 6 standalone cables and you effectively have a USB-A and a USB-C on one side and then a USB-C Lightning and micro USB on the other. If you multiply those together, you have the 6 cables. So you can see here that the original is USB-C to Lightning and micro USB, and then you can switch round the plugs for USB-A and then USB-C. Whereas the new one starts with USB-C to USB-C, and you can then switch round to USB-A, and then to that Lightning and micro USB. The two are slightly different in the way they are put together, and I believe the new one is probably a better option because always the most reliable connection is going to be the one without the plugs attached. And in the case of the new one, that is USB-C to USB-C, which is the way most of our portable electronics are going. The cable used here on the InCharge X is a heavy-duty cable with a TPU reinforcement, with TPU standing for a thermoplastic polyurethane. Then also in here, we have a nylon reinforcement, and each wire has what they call an aramid fiber. All that means is that it can bend many times, and it can also withstand being carried on a keychain without breaking. There are still the equivalent of 6 different cables here, and in the case of the micro USB, it is cleverly built into the lining plug, and it's not a hugely reliable connection, but you're going to be really happy you've got it in an emergency. Also, what I've noticed with the older version, looking at the micro USB, it is actually quite a loose connection. It doesn't hold it in very well, and it can drop out, but with the new InCharge X, it actually goes in with a bit of a click. so this doesn't come out. They've definitely made some improvements to that lightning stroke micro USB plug. The biggest difference apart from the looks is the fact that the InCharge X has a higher power charging rating of up to 800 watts. Now USB-C is capable of outputting a maximum 20 volts and 5 amps, which equates to 200 watts. Speaking of the X, it can support that, and that's known as power delivery or PD mode. So this has you covered for all your charging needs. The InCharge 6, meanwhile, is only rated for up to 18 watts max, which sounds like a lot less, but it will actually cover most people's requirements, particularly when it comes to charging a mobile phone. Data transfer is also covered with the X, with a data rate of up to 480 megabits per second. The original InCharge 6 now offers syncing as well, and both of those weigh the same, which is 27 grams or 0.9 ounces. Finally, let's take a look at the price. When it comes to pricing, the original InCharge 6 cost $19 and the new InCharge X cost $29, so an extra $10. And what do you get extra for that $10 extra cost? Well, you get a heavy-duty, more durable cable. You get what I think is a much nicer design. You get the ability to charge at higher power ratings of up to 100 watts, and you also get this plastic MPS, which I think not only improves the looks and stops dirt and dust getting in there, but also holds it together, so you're less likely to lose it. Add all those things together and I think that extra $10 is very worthwhile. Finally, should you consider getting the InCharge X? Well, my recommendation will be to go for the InCharge X. Having said that, if you are really on a tight budget, then the InCharge 6 does pretty much everything you need at $19. And if you really like the concept but are less interested in the compact version, which will go on a keyring or in a small pouch, and would prefer a longer, more practical cable, then that is available too for an extra $10. On either of these options, you get a 5-foot cable length. Well, that's all for this video. Hope you enjoyed today's review of the InCharge X super fast charging cable. Do let us know your thoughts of the InCharge X. Is it worth buying? Thanks for watching.